Hey, you guys. I am gonna go rogue on what I was planning on talking about today, because in my world, it's back to school season, and it may be for you in your world as well. And so a conversation that we get to have a lot with parents is around, how do we navigate as our teens get older, as our kids get older, and our teens still have that need for like back to school shopping, but they want more autonomy. Many of them probably are driving, so the idea of going on a back to school shopping trip with mom is like, or dad is like, I don't really need you here for this. And so how do you navigate kind of that back to school shopping, still maintaining some semblance of a budget or understanding of all of that? And so I just thought that I would jump on and actually talk about that today, because it's something that many of you may be facing currently in this season of this time of the year. So one thing that is a huge recommendation personally is to not just think about, okay, clothes and shoes and notebooks, but to sit down with your teen and actually flesh out together all of the expenses. So that may mean you may be pre-buying yearbooks, you may be having to pre-buy PE clothes, you may be having to pay for parking permits. There's a lot of other expenses, maybe loading lunch cards, cafeteria cards, or something like that. So there's a lot of expenses that go into getting our kids back to school. Like, I know you all feel me on that one. So making them understand truly like the full cost of really launching them into this next school year, I think is valuable for them to understand and just begin to wrap their mind around how much it really does cost and all of the things that can put a strain on a family's budget. And when I say a strain on a family's budget, ideally you have built into your annual expenses or your sinking fund or whatever you happen to call it, those back to school expenses. Many of you have not, and that's okay. But there's definitely an opportunity to really share that with them. Then, while I do give a dollar amount kind of budget of this is what I am expecting, or this is what I've already budgeted for you to be able to spend on like clothes and school supplies and stuff like that, I think it's important to allow our teens to make have some autonomy then over how they choose to spend those funds. So what I mean by that is, if you set a clothing budget of $300 to buy some back to school things, or you set a clothing budget of $150, or you set a clothing budget of $1,000, doesn't matter, but is allowing them to identify that, hey, for me personally, these shoes or these pants are what's really important to me, whether they're on sale or not. These are the ones that I feel like really fit me well, or I just feel comfortable in them, or they make me feel good. And I really don't care that much about X, Y, and Z. So allowing, because that's what we do as adults, that's what we should do as adults, is be able to regulate for ourselves what is important to us and what isn't important to us, and make those decisions accordingly. What I will do, and what I think that is important to do, is help talk them through all of the pieces. Like, let's look through your closet, and even though t-shirts may not be important to you and you really couldn't give two cares less, that let's at least verify that you have enough t-shirts to last and you haven't outgrown all of them. Let's make sure that we know whether you are short on something that definitely needs some attention within this budget. And so a conversation that I personally just had yesterday or the day before with my 16-year-old was about, he's starting a new job, and so he also needed a couple pairs of shorts and a couple pairs of pants. And he was doing that for school shopping. And so as in the conversation, he was going by himself, but in the conversation was, make sure that maybe you look for shorts and pants that would satisfy your work uniform that you need to follow, as well as, you know, things that you like and you would wear for back to school. So just maybe a little help that would support you in trying to navigate this weird time where, you know, you aren't as much in control, or maybe you are still in control, but they're wanting a little bit more autonomy, and still feeling like you have the ability to maintain the budget, maintain the financial plan, and still give them the freedom that they're looking for, and that they need to start doing for themselves so that they're ready to really undertake that adulthood that they're nearing. Unfortunately, I wish they weren't, but is what it is. So, all right, hopefully that helps. If you have a different way that you handle kind of back to school budgeting and shopping with your older kids, maybe even college age, then leave a comment below and share with all of us, because we're all on a learning journey together and we're all doing the best we can, and sometimes we just need a little bit of support and some ideas of what other people do that are that works really, really well. Obviously, I have a different background, so from the finance industry, you know, I have some different insights, but I would love to see what works directly from you guys as well. So talk to you soon.